and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Garage Reviews. I am Raghav Gupta and today I have with me, gosh, I'm so happy to say this, a Rolls Royce Cullinan. In this video, we're going to be giving you a very detailed review of the Rolls Royce Cullinan, talking about the styling, important features, performance, practicality, comfort and whatnot about this car. So without any further ado, let's get started, guys. But before we start, how could I ever forget to thank Rally Motors, who are the people responsible for providing me with this Rolls Royce Cullinan for a review. They have an amazing inventory of ultra luxurious cars just like the Rolls Royce, many Bentleys, Maseratis and whatnot in their inventory. So if you are interested in these ultra luxurious sports cars or SUVs, any other car, you can definitely contact them using the links in the description down below. But with that said, finally, let's start with the review. Let's kick off this review from the front end of the car. And before we even talk about that, let's talk about how Rolls Royces have such a timeless design. I mean, let's take an example of, say, a Phantom. If you see any older generation Phantom, I'm talking about old Phantoms, even those cars look so much renewed, so refreshed and so good on the road even till date. It's the same kind of scenario with the Rolls Royce Cullinan. This design, I'm sure even after say 50 years, 60 years down the line, this car is going to be the same timeless piece of machinery that it is today. These cars, in terms of styling, I mean, no one can beat them. I mean, even in terms of comfort, but styling itself is just something else. But anyways, enough of that. Let's talk about some styling cues of the car. For example, if you see inside the headlamps of this car, this massive rectangle that you see over here, which almost looks like the same headlamp that you got in the Phantom as well, because this is kind of like the Phantom of SUVs. The headlamp setup in this car has a 3 projector setup which is completely LED. We have a DRL strip running across the top of the car over here, and even the headlamp setup itself is a piece of art. Talking about the grille, the famous Rolls Royce grille that is found in every single Rolls Royce till date is given in the Cullinan as well, with the spirit of ecstasy shining in all its glory on top of it, with the Rolls Royce emblem just beneath it, given over here on the grille with a chrome piece just like this one. The grille in this car actually is lighted, so there are actually lights given in between all the chrome slats of the car, which means that when you're driving this car during the night time, you turn on the headlights, this grille will also be illuminated, which I think will just be a moment to glare at the car. Unfortunately, we can't do that, or I can't show you in this sunlight, but at night, trust me when I say this thing illuminates and it's going to look pretty gorgeous. But enough of that. If we move down over here, you can see we have functional vents in this car for cooling that massive Phantom V12 in the car, which we will talk about during the performance segment of the car. As far as styling goes, if we talk about this chrome strip over here too, goes in so well with the car. Everything that Rolls Royce has done in this car is so well thought and fits in so well with the car that it's almost impossible for anyone to find a flaw. And one thing about Rolls Royce is that have always been prevalent and is always prevalent, and I'm sure is always going to be prevalent, is the attention to detail. For example, in the headlamps of this car, tilted towards the side is another Rolls Royce logo. Now mind you, I would say 1 out of every 1,000 people will see that Rolls Royce emblem given inside the headlamp. But Rolls Royce has still given it, still paid attention to that small detail, because for the few people who do see and do observe it, they want them to appreciate it. That's the level of detail that Rolls Royce goes to, and that is what I am the biggest fan of. Coming to the side profile of this car, there is one thing I want you guys to observe, and that is how simple the side profiling of this car is. For example, if you talk about the alloy wheels, it's not too intricate. It's just a simple 7-spoke alloy wheel design, yet that fits in with the car so well that I would never want to change them. But if we do talk about the alloy wheels, these are 21-inch alloy wheels, which I guess is a huge number for an alloy wheel size, but with the car, this behemoth of a car, those alloy wheels, I mean, they fit in well. But anyways, moving on, we have another Rolls Royce on the front fender of the car, but beneath that Rolls Royce emblem, we have a turn indicator for the car. Now, almost 99.99% manufacturers till now have found a way to integrate this turn indicator with the ORVM of the car. But Rolls-Royce till date has not done it for only one reason, and that is the old school design. Rolls-Royce is one company that follows old school design and has kept it even till 2021. And this is one example for that. Next up, we move on to the doors in this car. If you see, we have two door handles, obviously for two doors, one on this side and one unusually on this side of the door and not that side, because as all of you know, Rolls-Royce has suicide doors, or what Rolls-Royce calls them, coach doors. So they open like this, which is a normal door, but then the rear one opens like this, right there, which by the way gives you more room to climb inside the car and have a seat in a Rolls-Royce. I mean, be it anyone, a Wraith, Ghost, Phantom, Cullinan, anyone. But another attention to detail in this car is that you see the design of the door handles. That same design has been copied to the side skirt of the car as well. You can see we have the same chrome kind of design on the bottom side of the door, and it extends towards both the doors in the car. That is attention to detail. Another attention to detail, which I guess a lot of you know by this time, is the Rolls-Royce emblem on the wheels of the car. No matter what the orientation of the wheel is, no matter if the car is moving, the Rolls-Royce emblem will always stay in the same orientation, that is upright. And this is true for every single Rolls-Royce emblem in the whole car. And it's a similar kind of story even here in the rear end. There is no kind of badging at all. It's kept it simple. No Cullinan, no Rolls-Royce, nothing. It's just the Rolls-Royce M logo, which is necessary. And other than that, a few chrome strips such as this one, and that's it. We have a quad exhaust setup in this car, which is nice to see. 2 exhaust tips over here, 2 exhaust tips over there, a total of 4. But by far, one of my favorite styling cues of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan has to do with the tail lamps of the car. They look absolutely gorgeous. The vertical design looks fantastic, and just the overall design, it's absolutely phenomenal. Now moving on into the interior of the Rolls-Royce, this is one of the best interiors in any car. This is so luxurious, and the kind of build quality that Rolls-Royce has, it is absolutely unmatched. I mean, just at the steering wheel itself, if you see the steering wheel, this is one of the softest leather steering wheels that I've ever touched in my whole life. Really one amazing steering feel. Now, I would have liked it a little better if it was a little bit more thick and not so, slim. But it's just nitpicking at this point of time. I mean, just look at how it looks. We have the Rolls-Royce emblem in the center. We have this whole steering wheel with piano black finishes or actual metal finishes everywhere, which is just kind of insane at this point of time. Even if you see some other buttons in this car, like this is the headlight control. It's a heavy metal switch which has such an amazing click to it whenever you even change it around. The AC vents in the car, you can see they are complete heavy metal. I mean, the AC was on right now, it's actually blimmin' cold right now. So moving on to the center console, we have leather everywhere, and then we have metal inserts over here. We have the leather dashboard inside this car. We have metal inserts over here. I mean, see, this is a metal key. I touch it to the metal. Look at what a clinging sound it is making. I mean, this is a proof of how good quality Rolls-Royce uses within their car. I mean, if I wanted to continue, I can so much continue about the wooden material in this car, the wood inserts over here, the Cullinan clock over here. I mean, it's so crazy how they've made this interior, and I'm absolutely 100% sure, even after 100 years, this interior will still be the same classic old school design, which will never ever age. And that is one of the best things of a Rolls-Royce. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan is the Phantom of SUVs, and so it makes sense that the Phantom of SUVs get the same Phantom engine. That's right. If you open up the hood of the Rolls-Royce Phantom, you see a 6.75 litre V12 twin turbocharged engine capable of producing 563 brake horsepower and 850 Newton meters of torque, which are absolutely amazing numbers. Those numbers equate to having this car sprint from 0 to 100 in under 5 seconds. That's right, this behemoth of a leather draped, wood draped, metal draped vehicle 0 to 100 in under 5 seconds. That is crazy. But anyways, that's what you get in the Cullinan. Damn, this is a long road. Now coming to one of the major segments of a Rolls Royce, and that is the features segment. Now I'm going to be just talking about the key features of this car, so we're not going to go into every single small little detail because that would make this video like a day long, and I know that you guys don't want to see that. But we still will be talking about all the key details for the car. For example, first off, let's start with the outside and then we'll move inside the car. First off, I want to talk about sound deadening in the car, because Rolls Royce are actually known for being so silent that if you even drop a pin inside the car, you would hear it. And I'll tell you how they actually did that. First off, we have things such as double glazed windows. If I roll down the windows of this car by pressing and holding the button, the windows come down, and you can see that the windows in this car are actually double glazed, which means they have a 2-layer design which keeps most of the sound out and keeps the car well insulated. So that is a plus point for dual insulated windows. Then we have things such as sound deadening materials. The new Rolls Royce Ghost, which by the way I have reviewed on this channel, I'll link that video in the description down below. Go check that out. In that I said that the new Rolls Royce Ghost has used over 100 kilos of sound deadening material within the whole car. That was the Ghost. This is the Cullinan. This being a much more massive car than that, I can only imagine how much more sound deadening material has gone inside this car. The other reasons are using materials such as lamb's wool for the carpets in the car, or using leather every single place. These are materials that absorb sound and hence give a much more acoustic presence inside the car. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are many more ways that I don't even know, but Rolls Royce has still done to their cars so that they can make them even more silent. But anyways, now let's move on to the doors in this car, because the door itself have a lot of features in them. So we're going to start off with the front doors. First off, opening the doors, that's simple. You can open them just like any other door. But for closing them from the outside, you just have this small little button that you need to slide your hand over and the door closes by itself. Similarly, for the second door, you open it up like this. Being a coach door, it opens the other way, but then closing it, just swipe your hand over there and the door closes for you. But what if you're inside the car? Well, that's simple too. Just simply press this button and the door closes. What if the other door is open? Well, you press this button and the other door closes. But what about the rear doors, you may ask? Well, press this button and the rear door closes for you. It's a Rolls Royce. You really don't have to do any manual effort. And speaking of not doing any manual effort, the irony is you do have to do some manual effort over here, and not just some, a lot, because opening these doors from here, that's hard, because you see, because they are hinged in the rear over here, opening these doors like this from your elbow, that's not possible. You have to use your hands force, and that's hard. But given that it's a Rolls Royce, you definitely have a driver and the driver will open the door for you. But still. But we're still not done, because if you open this side, you know Rolls Royce comes with an umbrella, and you press this button, the umbrella pops out and you can take out the umbrella, which once again has the Rolls Royce emblem given on top of it. The bigger feature over here is that once you've used the umbrella, it's now soaking wet. What do you do with it? In your houses, we obviously keep the umbrella outside so that it first dries up and then we take it inside the house. But what happens in a car? Where do you keep it in that side? Well, Rolls Royce has thought of that, because you can keep it right back inside, because that pouch where the umbrella is actually stored, that is heated, which means if it's wet, it will dry the umbrella for you. That's the level of attention Rolls Royce gives in their cars, and that's why Rolls Royces are so expensive. Moving inside the car, we come to other features in this car, such as this portion right here. You can see this is now actually digital, yet Keeping the old school design like I talked about in the styling segment as well, Rolls-Royce has still kept it analog but in a digital format. Which means that Rolls-Royce can still give its customers the luxury of keeping everything analog, yet use all the features that digital can actually provide. Which I think is absolutely amazing thinking by Rolls-Royce, and I am a big fan of that. And once again, if you see, the Rolls-Royce emblem always remains in the correct orientation, just like in these as well. Which means that even if I start driving the car will still keep the Rolls-Royce emblem in this orientation, but the needle will move. Next up, if we move to the center console, I actually want to talk about one small little detail in this car. For example, this is the infotainment display that we get in the car, which is inspired by the BMW display, because after all, BMW does own Rolls-Royce, but Rolls-Royce has given it its own touch. You can see everything is how sophisticated in this car, and it looks so cool. But one key attention to detail is that because this is the Cullinan, they have changed the display to show a Cullinan as well. That is pretty awesome. But one place that they actually forgot to do it is in the owner's manual. Let me show you. If I move on over here and I go to my vehicle and I go to owner's handbook, I go to animations, and let's say I go to cruise control. Have a look at what car it is. It is the Phantom. This is the only place that I could find in the whole car where they haven't changed it. Everywhere else it's the Cullinan, but the owner's handbook is the only place where they forgot to change it. Not that it matters, it's just so much fun finding them. But anyways, moving on. This display is just like BMW's display. All the features are kind of the same. It's just that there's a Rolls-Royce skin over the whole BMW system. But one feature that I absolutely love in this car is of these things. Now this at first glance looks like it's the radio presets, which they are, but they are customizable. You can change any of these buttons to do anything. And what I mean by that is that, for example, I can program the first button to open music. I can program the second button to open vehicle settings. I can program the fifth button to say, let's say, open communication. I can program any of the buttons to do anything except for the eighth one, because the eighth one is actually saved for only the Spirit of Ecstasy. When I press this button, it does one thing, and that is either hide it or reveal the Spirit of Ecstasy. Right now it's revealed, so I press it and it goes back. I press it once again, it comes back. So this eighth button is only for the Spirit of Ecstasy. Any other button I can change it. And if I forgot which button does what, I can just hover my finger over it, not pressing it, just hover my finger over it, and it tells me what exactly each button does. And you can see the eighth button has always been prefixed to right now lower, because the Spirit of Ecstasy is showing. But if it wasn't showing, it would then say rise, like it is right now. That's amazing. Another feature of the display of this car is, for example, if I go into vehicle settings over here, I go into vehicle settings, I go into doors and keys, and then I go into tailgate. I can then choose what the height of my tailgate opens to. That's right, I can control at what height I want my tailgate to open, and it shows you an animation, once again, of a Cullinan, at what height the tailgate will open. This is something you can configure in your Rolls Royce Cullinan. Yes, a lot of other luxury SUVs also have this feature, but it's the first time they've ever done it in Rolls Royce, because this is the first ever Rolls Royce SUV. One absolutely great feature of this car has to do with the reverse camera. When I pop this car into reverse, as you can see, it then opens this reverse camera, which is absolutely amazing for three main reasons. Number one, it is one of the highest definition cameras that I have seen in a car. Really shows me everything about the car. Second, it is the same system that you get in BMWs, and BMW reverse parking camera system is one of the best in the whole automotive industry. So that is why this also gets the same one, and this also becomes one of the best in the automotive industry. Third has to do with the way it operates. For example, if I go into this and I press, let's say this, I can change or see different viewing angles of every single portion around my car. But what I can also do is actually see every single position of my car just like this. this is one of the highest end system that I've ever seen in any car, and it is really helpful, because this is one, I mean, you don't want to scratch any car, but this especially is one car that you never ever want to scratch, and this will help it. One other thing about the system is that whenever I press parking, it even shows me how much wide the doors will open so that I can park properly, and then even when I open the doors, my doors don't ding. This is amazing attention to detail. And then you have this AC control system over here, which obviously you know has a 4-zone climate control because it is a Rolls Royce after all. But have a look at how everything has been mentioned and how everything is. First of all, everything is high quality, like I told you in the styling as well. But have a look at the names of the AC. Soft, medium, high, maximum. No. In this car, you don't go 1, 2, 3 or low, medium, high. You go soft, medium and high. That's the Rolls Royce language. But anyways, we are talking about features over here. So if we move on to the features, you can see we have ventilated seats, we have heated seats in the car. But the odd thing is you can turn on heated and ventilated seats at the same time. I don't know why that is, but you can do that. But then you also have a heated steering wheel in this car, which tells you that it's now a heated steering wheel. That is amazing. But then because this is a Rolls Royce, you can configure everything. Not now because the car has been made now, but when you buy the car, you can actually configure everything else to be heated as well. For example, in this car, you can configure the car to have heated armrest for the driver, for this armrest, for that armrest, even for the rear ones. You can configure the car to have heated armrests, and this is one very rare feature that I've not seen in any other car, and this blows my mind off. Now this particular car is not equipped with it, but you can if you wanted to. But then moving down over here, where we have one of the uniquest features for a Rolls Royce, and that is off-road mode. Because this is the first time Rolls Royce has ever made a SUV, that is why this is the first time they've made a car which is capable of going off-road. That's why they've given you a segment for off-road mode, a dedicated button for it. But you also get adjustable suspension in this car. For this is the normal mode, but then you can press this button over here for easier getting in and out of the car, because this is a high car, it's an SUV. And then you can press this button once again for some reason if you wanted the car to ride even higher. For example, say you are in a very bad road which has a lot of bumps and stuff, so you can adjust the suspension to that mode as well. And mind you, the Rolls Royce Cullinan is actually a very capable off-road car. Not that people will take it off-road, but for the few, I guess 2-3 people in the whole world who do take it off-road, they have given an off-road feature along with a hill descent control in case they wanted to go downhill while off-roading and they wanted to maintain their speed. So these are the few off-roading features that Rolls Royce is now equipped in the Rolls Royce Cullinan. Coming into the rear seats of the Cullinan, this is the feature I want to talk about. We have rear entertainment in this car. You can also get tray tables, but that's an option. The owner of this car did not opt for it, but he did opt for the rear entertainment. You turn it on by pressing this button and it turns on like so, and it's a touchscreen display which can then be used like so. But anyways, what does this display do, you ask? Well, exactly the same things that display can do, but more. You can play movies and do stuff in this one, but you cannot do it in that one. You cannot play movies in that one. So that's one benefit of these rear entertainments. But the bigger thing is that you can do anything you ever wanted. Even if you input navigation over here, you can input the navigation over here, and that navigation, the map will same transfer to the front screen so that your driver knows where you want to go. You do not even need to talk to your driver or your chauffeur. Just put it in over here and he'll take you there. You can control other things such as the media radio from over here. You can even change the vehicle settings from over here, which is really odd. And so this is what the rear entertainment package includes in a Rolls Royce. But in the rear seat doors, there are two buttons I want to talk about. This button is for the seat I am sitting in, that is behind the passenger side seat. And then this button is for the seat behind the driver's seat in the car. What exactly these buttons do is that I can actually put down this seat by just that button. As you can see, I'm just going to press the button and the seat actually goes down. Now the theory behind this is that I can put this seat down if no one is sitting over there, and then grab a few things from the trunk if I wanted to, and then when my work is done I can just push this button again and the seat will go back, as you can see right here, just like so. Now if you have one question in mind, is that what will happen if someone is actually sitting over there, so I can explain that as well. So you can see I'm sitting in this seat, nothing is actually happening because I'm sitting in this seat. Rolls Royce is smart. Now this feature is cool and all, I am all in for a feature like this, but the problem is, why do you need it? You can see I put down the armrest over here, I pull this lever and you can put down this portion over here and then access the trunk anyway. So why go to the hassle of putting down the seats from over here? Why? And one final feature of the car has to do with the heads-up display, because the Rolls Royce Cullinan can be equipped with a heads-up display and this car has been equipped with one. So you can see the heads-up display on your screens right there. Starting with the practicality of this car, we're going to start with the glove box, which once again has a completely metal and a heavy lever to open it. But once you do open it, you can see it is completely velvet lined and it is quite deep and large. You can easily keep a lot of stuff over here, definitely the owner's manual and all the other stuff that you may require in a car. In terms of organization, I'm kind of sad to say that there's no kind of organization over here. I don't know why that is, but nevertheless this is the glove box that you get in the Cullinan. Moving to the center console in this car, once you push this wooden pallet out of the way, you can see we have two cup holders for the front passengers, which by the way have the Rolls Royce logos in between them. Moving just behind that, over here another wooden pallet, and you open that, it reveals a small storage cubby over here for keeping some stuff. Once you open the armrest in this car, that reveals another storage cubby which is divided in two parts. One, we have this, which I think is to keep keys and coins, but then underneath there you have a very large storage cubby which has a lot of space for keeping a lot of stuff. We have this part over here for keeping, I guess, some papers, but then down there you get two USB Type-C ports along with the light and a 12-volt charging socket. If you look at the door pockets in this car, you can see they are completely humongous, one of the largest that I've seen in any other car, but they can easily keep a lot of stuff without a problem. And similarly, even the rear door pockets are very large. Keeping a lot of stuff over here isn't an issue. You also get a Type-C port over here along with two other switches which I already have talked about. In the rear, you definitely have seat pockets for both the driver and the passenger side seat over there. Interestingly, the middle console doesn't have any kind of storage cubby, but you do get a 12-volt charging socket over here. But the middle seat of this car does act as an armrest as well, which, as you can see, when opened, reveal two cup holders for the rear passengers, and you open this portion over here to reveal another storage cubby over here, which by the way is velvet lined, just like every other storage cubby in this car. And now coming to one of the most important parts of our practicality session, which has to do with the trunk. First off, let's talk about opening this trunk. We have three ways. First is on the key fob. We have a button on the driver's side door, which by the way is used to open and close the trunk, which is very unique because driver's side buttons usually open the trunk but don't close it, but in the Cullinan they open and close both. And then you can press the request sensor over here, which opens up the top portion of the tailgate, but then you can press this button again and then open up the second portion of the tailgate, which actually is used for sitting and stuff in case you wanted to go for a picnic on your Rolls Royce Cullinan, which by the way is possible, and you can pay extra also, and in that extra you get two dedicated seats even in the rear over here on this part of the tailgate, so that you can normally sit, have a glass of champagne or whatnot, you know, smoke some cigars because you're a rich person, and do anything you want, even back here. That's crazy. But anyways, this is the trunk of a Rolls Royce Cullinan. Absolutely massive and actually completely carpeted, which is crazy. In terms of numbers, this trunk space is around 600 liters, which means going for a long road trip in this car is absolutely a-okay. Not a problem at all. But anyways, if in any case you wanted to use your Cullinan for transporting some stuff for some reason, I don't know, but you can do that by putting down the seats, and then that gives you even more space. You can do the same thing for the other side as well, given over here. Press this button and the seat goes down. You can easily do that and then you have a lot of space. But the problem over here is, if you see, there's one kind of a step over there. So if you had something like really long, it'll be hard to put it inside the Cullinan because of that step. But you know, Rolls-Royce, attention to detail, that's key over here. So they've even thought of that. And if you press this button right here, this one, press that button and you can see there's a ramp over there, and this makes the whole floor a single piece. I mean, how crazy is that? Who even thinks of that? Apparently, Rolls-Royce does. And now talking about the one thing that Rolls-Royce is definitely known for, and that is its comfort. So let's talk about comfort in the Rolls-Royce. First off, you can see I'm sitting in the front seats over here, and it is one hell of a luxurious experience. This is one of the softest seats that I've ever sat in. Very, very comfortable, perforated leather seats. Perforated because obviously the seats are heated and cooled, both, like I showed you earlier as well. So everything really has been taken care of in this Rolls Royce. I can move the seat back and forth, which is normal, change the backrest of this car, change even the underside support, which is itself is electronic. The steering wheel of the car electronically controlled. Everything has been well thought out, and in terms of seat experience, I cannot stress on this enough. But these are one of the most softest, luxurious seats I have ever sat in. One of the most plush seats I've ever sat in. This is one experience, honestly, that I'm never ever going to forget. I can only imagine what it must feel like to one day own a Rolls Royce, because this is one experience I can never get enough of. Alright, so coming into the rear seats of the car, you can see I have switched places. I am now behind the passenger side seat and not behind the driver's seat, because this is the seat you actually want to be in. The theory behind this is that if you have a Rolls Royce, you have a chauffeur who drives you around. So chances are that no one is going to sit in the passenger seat over there. You're going to be sitting over here, which means that if the front seat is empty, you can control the front seat from the back and then have even more leg room if you want, which is crazy. You can't do it in that seat because obviously you cannot disturb the driver, but the front seat that's empty, you can change that. But anyways, talking about comfort over here, like I told you, the seat material is the same over here as well. Absolutely plush, softest seats I have ever sat in. One very, very luxurious experience. I do not feel like ending this review ever, honestly. I just want to keep reviewing the car so that I have access to this car, so that I can sit in this car forever and ever and ever. Honestly, one very, very nice experience. What even enhances it is that I have rear entertainment. Like I told you, I can do that in this car. Also, I have 8 different type of massages. That's right, not 1, not 2, not 3, 8 different type of massages in the rear seat of a Cullinan. That's crazy. In terms of space, I have about 1.5 feet of leg space. I have about 0.5 feet of headroom. I mean, who needs more than that? That's way more than anyone may ever require. And I can easily tell you, space is not a problem over here. 3 healthy adults can easily sit over here without a problem, without anything, go for a long road trip in the Cullinan for a very long time and still stay comfortable. And so that was a review of a Rolls Royce Cullinan. I honestly feel so incredibly lucky to having reviewed this car. Honestly amazing. But that's all for this video, guys. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Comment down below your favorite part about the Cullinan. Share this video as much as you can. Subscribe to the channel as well. Please do, because it gives me so much more motivation to create more such content just like this for you guys. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in the very next one.